Also, did you see this? Apparently the DOJ has been looking into Minneapolis this entire time. I had no clue, but apparently the DOJ was still investigating Minneapolis after the George Floyd murder, and they found something quite appalling.
After a 2-year investigation, the Justice Department concludes the Minneapolis Police Department has systemic problems that led to the 2020 murder of George Floyd. Jeff Bougues has more on the new findings.
More than 3 years after the murder of George Floyd at the hands of former police officer Derek Chauvin, Attorney General Merrick Garland said systemic abuses by police led to his death.
We found that the Minneapolis Police Department routinely uses excessive force, often when no force is necessary.
He's on the verge of tears. Leave him alone.
Was killed after being placed in a neck restraint, something the report says was too common, and sometimes used in situations that did not end in an arrest. An analysis.
They're putting people in chokeholds, and they didn't even arrest. They're not even arresting them. What, are they just putting them in chokeholds for fun?
Of 19 police shootings over 6 years found that officers shot at people without first determining whether there was an immediate threat.
Nice one. Good job.
As an example, investigators cited the murder of Justine Damon in 2017, who reported to police a possible sexual assault. When they showed up, she approached and was shot by an officer because he was, quote, spooked.
That he was a nice one. Calling the police because you may have been assaulted, and then you approach the police that you called, and he goes, "Oh my goodness." Listen, what can you say? White woman jump scare. Your officer, your honor, you can't convict me for this. It was a white woman jump scare. Come on, she's spooky.
Report concluded that black citizens experienced 24% more uses of force than white people, and that the MPD disproportionately stops black and Native American people. The city's new police chief promised a new approach.
We will change the narrative around policing in this city.
Some activists have...
We promise to stop violating the civil rights of random citizens as soon as possible. I promise.
Doubts about that. Do you believe them?
No, I don't.
Why not?
They've had so many chances to do better. They have put forward lots of statements, lots of policy changes, and lots of promises, but those have been broken promises.
CBS News Chief National Affairs and Justice Correspondent Jeff Bougues joins us now. Jeff, how will the Minneapolis Police Department address the new findings?
Well, Catherine, they say that they've already been making changes since George Floyd's murder, but now with the federal government watching, they're going to have to make more changes. In fact, this scathing report officially begins the process of negotiating with the Department of Justice on how best to move forward with these reforms. So that starts...
I don't know. I just think it's wild how a police department has to negotiate with federal law enforcement on how to not violate human rights. Like, why? Why? You know, what's going on? You couldn't just like not do that instead? Really?
Now it could and is likely to eventually go to a courtroom where it will be official. And so we're getting to the point now where these negotiations are underway with the Department of Justice in terms of making lasting changes here to the police department in Minneapolis.
So I just want to dig down a little further on something.
That is true. You could simply just choose to commit less random killings. Is it really that hard? They need a babysitter. They need a stop killing random people babysitter. It's a gang. People talk about gangs in Minneapolis. It seems like the most well-funded, dangerous gang is the police.
You said there are some changes already in place. What does that look like?
Well, some of...
Honestly, you could just leave it there. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Deep sigh. Well,
the changes they've addressed deal with traffic stops. In fact, a lot of the issues the Department of Justice pointed out stem from some of these traffic stops. What they've tried to do here is minimize the threshold or in fact, raise the threshold for some of these traffic stops, because in the past, they've seen where traffic stops have quickly escalated into something that they didn't need to be. So you have changes there. You also have changes in the type of discipline that is now happening within the department. In the past, there have been these accusations that there have been violations by police officers and no discipline to follow that up. And now they believe the more discipline you have, the more reform you bring to a police department in terms of the kinds of tactics that are used.
And in our final few seconds, will these findings have an impact beyond Minneapolis?
They likely will. You'll recall that after the report on Ferguson, Missouri.
Yo, Tyrannex, thanks for the gifted. I really appreciate you. Thank you, partner. Thank you. Flashing colors. I know, right? What, like, I don't know. I just think it's wild that they have to, like, LAPD was like this. LMPD was like this. Louisville Metro Police Department. Now Minneapolis, the police department. It seems like they all have some massive issues, don't they? Maybe you could just, like, be better. Is it really that hard to kill that few people? Is it really that difficult to not kill people during traffic stops like this? Do you really need that much help? If that's the case, I don't know. We do still need to move away from classic cringe ass policing. We do need to move more towards community-based, thank you, more community-based conflict resolution. We really need that.
Where Michael Brown was shot and killed, there was a similar report that had a major impact on the Ferguson Police Department, reforms that are in place to this day. And so when you have this kind of report from the Department of Justice, it is likely that other departments across the country will read it and, of course, make changes within their departments as well, or at least that's what's hoped.
Yeah, that's definitely what's hoped. Typically from what I've seen, a lot of police departments look at this and then they're like, how can we become worse? No, not that, but they're like, how can we hide it? There, like, how many reports do we have to see of police hiding crimes against humanity that they're committing? It's for us to finally be like, we can't just trust them to do whatever that we want. We need somebody to take, like, just complete control over, like, have like way closer, faster acting, more involved oversight over these police departments. Like, we shouldn't, why do we have to have human sacrifices to the police gods for like the government to come in and finally do something? Why is it when only people die do changes occur? What about before they die? Don't you think that would be cool? Don't you think that before human beings get, like, tortured to death by the police, that we could possibly, you know, make them not do that before it gets out of hand? That's just my thought. That's just a thought. That's just an idea that I had. It just sprung up out of nowhere. You know, I'm just shooting off the cuff here. So, you know, crazy stuff. Who knows? Instead of disciplining them, they're leashing them so they don't kill more people. We do need to discipline them. We need more police officers to get life in prison. If power is all they respond to, then you have to show them power. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.